Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
And I'm Aaron.
And I'm Phil.
And I'm
We
Cole.
slum it hard so you don't have to.
I hope we're going to do like a couple more rounds of that.
No.
Oh.
I had a joke.
Nobody else was hoping that, for what it's worth.
Okay.
I had a joke. I was going to say it earlier, and I was like, no, I'm going to save that until after the intro, and then it's gone now.
Did you write it down?
I did not.
You don't carry a book with you, a little tiny pocket book that's titled "Good Jokes."
A moleskine.
No, but I do stay in hotels a lot, and in a hotel, sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll think of a good joke. But in a
Write it in the
hotel,
Bible.
the pen is far away, so I have to write it down, or I also have to convince myself that the joke wasn't that funny.
Which is hard.
And
There you go. Back by popular demand. That was for can't remember who mentioned it. Michael Newman, maybe.
Oh, did he? That was a really
Mitch Hedberg joke.
That's a particularly bad iteration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
But
funny
he
joke
mentioned
in real life.
He mentioned there hadn't been a Mitch Hedberg reference in a while.
Oh, well, he's right.
But I don't think that's true.
It's really, really sad that our fans, one of the things that our fans know us for is
just stealing jokes.
Tell jokes that have no business being retold.
Dude, that
From
that
people who
bad
are way funnier than us.
Yes,
post
professionals.
that someone put in our group is like the best thing I've ever seen. I love it so much.
Which
Do
one?
tell.
When the girl, you've
You
seen
know
it.
that one.
When the girl goes, I said the Bhad Bhabie post.
Oh, the Bhad Bhabie. Okay, sorry,
sorry.
that part cut out.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
her
it's
reaction
so
is like so good because it's really like honest. It's just like, no, I do not. I hope you like
like
this drawing
this.
I made of you. I do not.
No, I do not. It's crazy. Like we've talked about how some people are like turned into sociopaths, like Kanye or Trump or whatever, by just like only ever having people say yes to them.
Yeah.
But then she is like legitimately, like she has no social like skills of any kind.
Do you think that's what it is, though?
Like she has that same type of behavior, but not for the same reasons, you know.
I think it's a similar reason though. Like her mom seems to have kind of let her do whatever she wanted.
I guess that it's just from the parents instead of from everybody.
Yeah, it's not like social,
which is enough, I guess, especially for a younger person.
Should we? I think we should describe this for the.
She got rich like just in time to not meet the real world.
We have five listeners who are not in the Facebook group. So can we explain?
So, Bhad
Spencer
Bhabie.
Ham. Thank you, Spencer.
Oh yeah, it was from Spencer Ham.
Spencer Ham.
He's one of our many Asian listeners.
Is that offensive to call him Spencer Ham if he's kosher?
No, it's offensive to offer him a ham sandwich if he's kosher.
Not as offensive to offer it to him. It's offensive to insist that he eat it.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it's offensive to force. It's offensive in the same way that assault of any kind is offensive, I guess.
Yeah, right. That's particularly offensive.
Hey, you want a ham sandwich? Oh, never mind. You loser.
That's offensive.
It's all right. He won't be offended. He's too young.
Okay, so the post.
So Bhad Bhabie is the. I mean, we've talked about her.
Yeah, we don't need to explain everything.
Like the Kardashians are famous.
So in the 80s, there was this woman named Oprah, and
Yes,
she
keep
was
going.
like a local Chicago talk show host.
Classic rags to riches story.
Mhm.
Later, like 20 something years later, she put this dude named Dr. Phil on TV, who is some kind of doctor, but not the kind of doctor he
Oh man, he
purports
is
to be, or
some kind of
something.
doctor.
Some kind of doctor.
He could doctor on me any day.
Fast forward to yesterday, someone posted a tweet in our Facebook group, and then you explain it.
Someone,
So-
Spencer Ham.
Yum.
It's I am.
He
Now that's offensive.
some girl tweeted at Bhad Bhabie, at the Cash Me Outside girl, and this hand drawn, and it's surprisingly good. It's like the person clearly spent a lot of time on it, even if like faces are very hard to draw and everything, so it doesn't look amazing, but you can tell that it's well done. And all it says is, "I hope you like this drawing I drew for you." And she quote tweeted, which ensured that all of her followers would see it. And all it says is, "I do not, but I FW you for trying," which is I F with you for trying. But it's just the 3 words, "I do not," period.
I do not.
Like, this person spent a lot of time on it, right? Like that
Clearly,
picture.
Yeah,
and
but like,
sent it to her, or like her
And then
person of whom she is a fan.
drew it by hand and then took a picture of it, sent it to her. And this girl who's popular for being a terrible person, like, the only reason she was on Dr. Phil is because she's a terrible person, and she treated him like garbage and became popular because of it.
Yeah,
isn't
it's pretty rough.
Don't you think that her popularity is similar to Trump's popularity in this kind of like,
Because she says it like it is.
yeah, like, oh my
Says
gosh,
it
it's
while
so
thinking.
yeah,
Like it is.
it's like just whatever crazy thing comes to her mind. I wish I could say whatever crazy things comes to my mind, but I can't.
can.
because I care about other people's feelings.
Which is like the
Man,
irony
it's so
of that is
refreshing
like
when somebody doesn't do that.
the only people who really like have to worry about censoring themselves is like people with really bad ideas. It's like if you're that worried that everything you say is going to offend someone, then you have probably a lot of offensive ideas that you're trying to like you're holding them in.
Yeah, but
I just know if I said what I was thinking, it would offend everybody.
And they think in their mind, like, that's what everyone around me is doing.
Right.
Like, every other person on the earth isn't really saying what they're thinking. They all just have terrible racist thoughts like I do.
Right.
And they're just not saying them just because it's not kosher.
Yes, I agree.
think I see, this is particularly funny to me because
Except for Phil. Phil tells us his true thoughts, and they are bad. People.
yeah,
Yes.
this
Disturbing. even.
this is particularly
Even
funny
for
to
the
me
internet.
because
It's pretty rough.
I have kids who give me like art that they did, and I made the mistake of putting up on my wall behind my desk in my classroom like a couple pieces of art that I thought were good, and then kids just started randomly giving me art that was not good, and I felt like like I have to put this up because
You don't have to. Don't give out any participation trophies.
because I want the kids to feel appreciated, and a lot of the art is kids drawing me,
Mhm.
and some of it is good and some of it is not as good.
So you don't like it because it's not flattering.
No,
That's the real problem.
okay, Monday I'll take a picture of it. I'll show you. Some of it is flattering, some of it is not flattering, but some of it is just not good.
None of it is intentionally unflattering.
Right. So
You set a precedent, Phil. It's all
I
about
did.
precedent.
I did, and I wish I
Precedent
could.
should be that the good stuff goes on the wall.
I wish I could be like
Yeah.
Bhad Bhabie.
You can. See, this is the problem with millennials is that they've been destroyed by Generation X, which is you. And you're continuing now. You're destroying.
No,
Who are
Phil's a
these
baby
new
boomer.
people?
So what am I doing? Oh, you mean because I'm telling them that it's all worth it?
Yeah, you're
You
giving
could,
out
like, say
participation
you and
trophies.
not put it on the wall. You don't have
Okay.
to put all of them on the wall.
If these kids, what generation is a between a 15 and a 17-year-old?
They are like
Generation
Z.
Z or something.
Do we not even have a name for them yet?
Gen Z at the moment.
No, they don't deserve a name. They haven't earned it.
They haven't been lazy long enough.
You
to get a
don't
name.
earn other people's wives' fur coats.
They haven't even protested on Wall Street yet about their student loans.
Okay, well, go back to what you were going to say. Defend yourself.
What? Why?
I want to know what you were going to say before we started talking about the generation name.
Well,
Just that you wish you hadn't started a precedent of putting crappy pictures on the wall.
I think Aaron has in his mind, oh, Phil's going to say this, and I've got the perfect rebuttal.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're going to say.
Because
He's asking you to say what you want to say now.
Yeah. Okay. What I want to say is
I won't even rebut it. I'll just listen to it. I'm going to give you space
shut up.
to say it.
Mm-hmm. I have a relationship with the kids.
What?
They give me, they go, Mr. Eisenhower, I made this. And I go, oh, and then I feel bad. So
you feel bad for enabling their bad behavior?
I don't. I feel bad for any additional opportunity where I tell them they're not good enough.
Yeah, like you get enough of those when you're grading their papers.
Exactly. So it's like, here's the thing that they did on their own.
Like it's not my job to tell them they're bad at this, so at least I can cut them some slack.
Yes, exactly.
I see where you're coming from.
Totally.
And I, as a second-year teacher, I am not good at teaching. Like, I'm doing my best, but like when I get a bad paper, I'm like, I know this is bad, and now I have to explain to them why this is bad. And then I say, okay, here's why it's bad. And then they go, I don't get it. And then they go, the next day they go, Mr. Eisenhower, I drew a picture of you. And I go, oh, thanks. I'll put it on my wall. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I got him. He does like me. And then you give him a bad grade again. They're like,
he does. And they're like, what the hell? Yeah. Yes.
My emotions so hard.
Yes.
That's like when I go to my skin cancer.
It's cool. I still F with you kids.
When I go to my skin,
I can't say that to them.
We already said you have relationships with the kids. What did you mean by that?
No, Aaron, no matter how much you say, it doesn't mean what it sounds like it means. I still can't say it to kids.
Wait, what? It does mean what it sounds like it means.
Okay, then say it to kids.
I don't say it to kids. I don't have kids.
That's what. So, who posted that they had to Google it? Because I had to Google
like
what
everybody over 25.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because obviously, yeah,
everybody not part of the hip hop community.
I don't think it's hip hop.
It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with the hip hop community.
No, it doesn't.
Because we all know that
Bhad Bhabie is not a part of the hip hop community.
Yes, she is. She's a tastemaker now. That's it. Deal with it.
Just come out and say it. You're saying it's urban. It's urban slang.
It's urban. It's urban. And what was the other thing that we said? Oh, it's jazz. It's jazz language.
Jazz lingo.
It's
typical. Bhad Bhabie is definitely part of the jazz. He's definitely part of the jazz community.
The jazz community. So
That's
you Googled it.
the,
cool.
That's still one of the best scenes of any movie ever is on Airplane when the stewardess has to translate to jive or just that random white lady. Anyways.
She's not a random white lady. That's Mrs. Brady. Isn't it?
It could be. At the time, I'd never seen the Brady Bunch. You forget that we're from a different generation.
That's the one, that movie that came out like in the early 2000s or late 90s. The Brady Bunch.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's one with Alicia Silverstone or whoever's in it.
Yeah, I just
Is Alicia...
Ben Stiller's wife is in it.
Yeah.
Mrs. Fokker?
No, not that one. His wife in real life.
His real wife.
The reporter from Zoolander.
Dude, that movie's from 1995.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that? Yeah, that is who it is. What is her name? She's
her name
pretty.
is Christine Taylor.
I don't know actors and actresses' names.
So Cole, you Googled it, and then what?
And then I continued living my life. I went on with my day.
Once you Googled it, did you like get it? Did it make sense to you pretty much immediately?
Yeah. But I F with you for trying. Yeah, it's like I will interact with you. I will.
Like I'm still cool with you. Like I think you're cool for doing it.
Yeah. It's like if you're saying, no, I'm not gonna, like, my guitar is broken, but I don't want to F with it. It's not the same exact, but it's not that far from that.
I know, but
that's
but Phil, you are right, because Spencer said that there's nothing sexual about it, which is not necessarily true, because it does.
Yes, it can't like
have a connotation of like I'm attracted to you.
And my original problem was not that it is or is not sexual. My original problem is that grammatically it's awkward.
Grammatically, it makes perfect sense because you're changing the form of the term.
But the acronym is awkward. That's at least what I like. It's an awkward acronym, especially because it has the U.
What Cole just used it, I don't want to F with my guitar. Like, that makes grammatical sense.
But that's what it says. It's in that same form.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I F with you for trying.
I F with you for trying.
Kind of. I mean, it's like
it would be like I like you for trying.
It's becoming its own noun phrase, which is fine. But I'm just saying,
it's not a noun phrase. It's a verb.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's becoming its own verb.
English teacher.
Phrase.
But it's always a verb.
I know, but the verb.
Not in PG-13 movies. They're not allowed to use it. Take out the W.
But now you're changing it because that's not what it means.
I know that's not what it means. I'm just saying it's an awkward.
But that's not the grammar. That's you changing the, like, not understanding the meaning of it.
I do understand the meaning, and the meaning used in the sentence is awkward.
I don't.
But it would be like if I said, like, I give to you, and you said, well, take out the two. I'm like, yeah, now it means something different because you took out part of it. Like, give you means something different. But you can't take out the word.
You're saying it's a difference of being transitive or an intransitive verb.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you don't, Aaron. You probably do, though, don't you?
I feel like I do, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
That's one of those grammar things that you don't ever learn until you learn a second language, and then it's like, oh, or I guess probably just specific second languages. But anyways.
That don't do it or do it?
That make a specific distinction between the two, that they're like used differently in speech because they're transitive or intransitive. Anyways.
But it's because English does.
Because English does
not. Yes.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you learn this other language that does, and you're like, wait, what? That's the thing?
It's like, oh, it was there all along.
So are you saying that Bhad Bhabie does or does not speak multiple languages?
She clearly speaks a language that's slightly different from what we speak.
All I'm saying is that sentence, apart from the fact that it should be a comma, not a period, does make sense grammatically.
Yes, it does. But if you have never heard that phrase, then I can understand why it might be confusing. I'm glad we drilled down on that.
If you replace it with love.
But
that's different, though.
Yeah.
I know the meaning is different, but I'm talking about like...
No, because you would never say love with something. Like that's not a
No, see,
thing.
that's my problem. My problem is that it as a word is what is awkward. Because I'm talking about replacing FWU with the word love.
But you wouldn't say, but I love for
But
trying.
it's not. That's not what it means.
Right. No, Aaron, I know that that's
You
not
could
what it
change
means.
it to say I love you for trying, and that would be the equivalent. You're changing out
you
the whole
wouldn't say,
thing. Only the
but I
FW
love
is equivalent
for
to
trying.
love, not the whole thing, because you're taking out the object.
The fact that the phrase has all of it together and the phrase cannot be
It
can't.
means
F
that
with.
it's
It can be, but you're taking out.
Tell me how. Tell me how it
because
can be
you
changed.
are taking out the object, and the object is not part of the verb.
Tell me.
I just told you.
Okay, explain. Give me an example.
I have explained. You
Why are you getting mad?
because you're ignoring what I'm
example
telling you.
is the one
Use
that you
your
said, Phil.
example.
Your
Take
example was you can't replace it with love, and it's because you wouldn't say, but I love for trying. You'd say, I love you for trying.
And what I'm saying is you only have to replace the verb, not the object as well. So if you take out FW, change it for L, it makes sense.
But it's a
if
whole.
that I L
But
U
it's
for
not.
trying.
Like you're making those three words stuck together, and they're
It's
not
because
stuck together.
the
Only the
reason
first
it's
two parts of it are stuck together. In the
The reason
acronym,
it's
yes.
not
In the
as
phrase,
readable
no.
for you is that the acronym has the object and the verb in it. That's
Yes,
why it makes it less readable.
that's what
But
I'm
that
saying.
isn't. Yes, but that isn't a problem. That just means you're not used to reading it. That's
Well,
just because it's something for you.
It's a problem in my brain.
Yes, there's many problems in your
Yes,
brain.
but that doesn't mean that I've not explained it to you. That means that you refuse or are unable to understand it, which I apologize for.
Fine.
He's apologizing to our listeners, not to you.
I'm
No, he's not.
apologizing
The
to
drawing,
Bhad.
the drawing's really good though.
Yeah, it's
Have
not.
I talked about it?
It's not though.
Like it's way
mean-
better than I could do, and you could give me a long time, and I couldn't do that good.
It's better than I could do, but it is a good drawing. It does not look like her.
Now imagine that you're 15
not
though,
flattering.
and someone drew this picture of your face.
Is she really only 15?
I assume that's what her album is called. 15. I think she's like 15.
Maybe that's
feel
how many
like
crimes
We've been
committed.
talking about her for 3 years, and she's been 15 for 3 years.
No, she was like barely 13 when she went on Dr. Phil.
Ugh.
And it hasn't, I don't think it's been 3 full years.
It hasn't been 3 years because we haven't even been doing this podcast for 3 years. But
Mm.
it's pretty, like, just again to go back to this idea that like somebody, imagine that you're 15 and somebody drew this picture of you. That like I'm a 15-year-old that nobody has any reason to care that I even exist, but this person, somewhere else in the world took time to draw a picture of me, and my immediate response is, I do not like that.
Yeah, but okay.
But she
So-
FW her for trying.
Wait a second.
No, she
That doesn't make
FWU'd.
sense. No,
Yes,
she FW her.
But I'm talking in the third person now.
Say it correctly.
I did.
She FW her.
No.
Yes, that is correct.
That is correct, Phil, because we are able
You're
to
acting
break
like
up
these are all.
acronym in
You're
our
acting like
heads.
they're all brand new words that have never been used before.
If you can manipulate the phrase, then it should be manipulated.
Yes, and you can, but she didn't need to because it works in the context that she used it in.
I don't like it.
Like, Phil, I understand
But-
and I stand by your very first point that, like, yeah, it's not super readable because it has the verb and the object in there. But past that, like, you no longer have an argument after that.
Okay.
It's just like, yeah, it's kind of not readable.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about. Well, first, let's say that this episode is sponsored by Sinusoid,
Bhad Bhabie.
the bad baby of cables.
Oh, they need to make a cable called the Bad Cable and spell it. Well,
Bhad,
you can put
It would be cable.
Cable.
No,
The
they
bad cable.
CABHLE.
Oh yeah. Okay, cut that part out, Aaron. So we can
All right.
talk to Andy about it privately.
All right.
In our business discussions that we have with him.
I
So-
want to say check out their pancake plugs because they just came out with these new, like smaller shrink wraps that look really cool. So,
Yeah.
and they're sturdy and small and affordable. I think they're cheaper than anyone else's. They're like pretty inexpensive, relatively inexpensive. So buy them. You sinusoid.
And I'll put in
And now
another
back
plug
to the Gear Slum.
for silent plugs.
Okay, back to
Just-
Bhad Bhabie.
No, we were going to talk about something else. Unless you have more to say, go ahead.
I just want to say this one thing. It has nothing to do with her grammar. This
Her perfectly legitimate grammar.
her perfectly reasonable jazz grammar.
It's standard English.
Don't
The
get
thing that worries me,
It's
the thing that
literally
worries me about
normal
this
standard
discussion
English grammar.
is I'm not even a professional English teacher.
That's true.
That's part of what's troubling about all
Don't
of
be
this.
worried.
Okay.
You shouldn't be worried that
Okay.
you're not, but that
Yeah.
some other person is.
Exactly. No, that was the implication.
I know.
Because of the implication, Aaron.
Oh, right, the implication. I feel you.
If
Okay, what were you saying, Phil?
if
was
Bhad
your one more thing
Bhabie
to say?
turned this in on an essay, I'd write awk. Rewrite. That's it.
Well, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say, don't use acronyms.
Because you're cooler
Yeah.
than me.
Don't
Aaron,
use slang acronyms.
I would say don't use acronyms, and then if she spelled it out, I would say, are you sure that profanity is what you want to use here, or don't use profanity? But the
Why do
form
you
of the language
profanity
is not a
shame?
problem.
and then
the language
and then
is
she'd
perfect.
be like, but Professor Abubo, why did you draw this picture of me?
And I would say I didn't.
Bhad Bhabie, do you like this? I love picturing Aaron.
But-
she's in
and
Aaron's
he's
class
trying,
and he draws a
and he's
picture
like,
for her.
"Fuck."
You like this?
I don't have children in my classes.
And then she's like, and then he's like, I don't think you
I
should.
would
Okay.
do
say
that.
I do not.
Okay,
But
the
you
better.
didn't
I
ask
just
for trying.
noticed another slight subtlety that's even better. She doesn't even say she doesn't even ask if she likes it. All
Oh,
she
I
says is,
hope you like.
I,
I
I
hope
hope
you-
you like this. That's even worse. It's like she didn't even have to answer.
All she had to say is, "Oh, thanks,"
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, she didn't have to say yes or,
or
no.
nothing. Just don't
Yeah.
respond.
Or don't even, or like retweet it or something. Like,
This is
Okay,
what, that's why I love it, because it's like the perfect response and it's completely honest, but it's also like kind of nice a little bit, but like completely unnice.
I know, like it's the meanest way that and then she tries to salvage it, but doesn't.
Well, is it meaner to never respond?
Yeah,
Because the
no,
person like
it is not meaner to never respond. If you send a tweet to someone famous, the assumption is they're never going to see it or respond.
Again, I
right.
do not appreciate
So that's
you
not
using the term
mean.
famous about
That's
Bhad
not mean.
Bhabie.
Okay, so
saying,
so
like,
here's what I was trying to get back to before. So when I saw her in concert last May,
Oh, you're gonna throw that in our face.
You should throw that
It's
in
just
your
like
own face.
it's just
the
like
ticket-
Aaron going to the episode 100.
the tickets exactly. The tickets were like, I don't know, $20 or something. And then for the meet and greet, I know I mentioned this on the show before.
Phil, are you mad because she did an FWU when you were there?
Yes. The meet and greet was $110.
Yo,
Now,
Additional?
when I saw
that's
Emery,
like how much the Dashboard Confessional meet and greet was.
when I saw Emery at a smaller venue, the ticket was $20 and the meet and greet was $30. And that's what I'm. So the
Wait.
fact that
How does it make you feel inside? Just aside from the meet and greet, that Emery played at a smaller venue than Bhad Bhabie.
yeah, I mean,
Doesn't
no,
that
I've
just hurt you.
It doesn't hurt me. I find it fascinating, and
It
I
makes
think,
sense to me.
and I find
Yes,
it fascinating.
it absolutely makes sense, but it's still very sad.
Like if she had taken up an emo core band instead of hip hop, no one would be seeing.
No
her
one would
either.
care.
I know.
But so,
Can you picture?
dude,
Oh,
gosh, that would be so great.
that would be very good.
Or what? Or what about this?
And her name would be Sad Baby.
Sad.
Sad Baby. And everyone's like, Shad Baby? What does that mean?
What if it was like?
Looks like Oneaters.
Doesn't it make
Oneaters.
more sense if it was like she became the lead singer of a new metal band, like Limp Bizkit? Like
That's
Fred
yeah,
they're
like-
old, dude. That's not a new metal band. They've been around
Like-
for a long time.
Like Evanescence.
They're not new either.
No, because she sings. It's got to be somebody with a obnoxious rapping.
I hate you, Aaron.
It's got to be Korn or
Oh, like
Limp
Linkin
Bizkit.
Park or Incubus.
My point is, supply and demand.
Can you picture her going?
Disturbed. Yes.
I want to
I
hear
could
Bad
see it.
Baby sing "Sounds of Silence"
Me too. Me too.
with way too much auto tune.
So
Oh no.
Okay, guys, let's.
my point is supply and demand.
Let's move on. Why did we circle back to Phil's favorite artist? I want to talk about this picture that someone posted in our board, and I mean
The one of Bad Baby that girl drew.
what it is
What it
Drawing,
is.
you mean?
this other one that Brett.
What it is.
That's another jazz
Series
jazz person phrase.
So I'm gonna read it. He says.
We're gonna start saying JP.
He says.
JP.
How's this for a board? Which there should be a question mark there, Brett, but it's okay. Custom West Coast board and case, size of coffin, which I think, if you're going to be honest, it's the size of like a small child's
It's a baby. It's a baby
infant
coffin.
coffin. Size
Which
of
is sad.
coffin. Very sad.
Infant coffin. I
Then
think
it
that's
says-
actually the model. I think it's like the IC 32 or something, infant coffin, and it's 32 inches long.
All these pedals, and he played some chords. The muff is an original 72, though, so there is that. So this board is what, probably like 36 inches long, wide, you think? Like 36 by 12 or something. It's like insanely wide.
It's deeper than 12, right?
It might be.
Like think about the room in between those pedals, the length of those pedals, and then the room of the pedals. Like it's got to be more
It's
like.
probably like 14. That's like
I
pretty
was thinking it's
standard.
more like it's closer to like. That's like a foot and a half, or
I think 14 is like the standard height, and that you can usually get 3 rows on there.
I'm guessing it's like 36 by 18 or 36.
It might be.
somewhere in there.
I think it's wider than. I think it's more than twice as wide as it is tall, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe it's like 42 by 18. Anyway, it's massive.
It's really long.
well, you could
So-
see in the picture where the guy's standing, like he's literally standing over it.
Like straddling it.
Look at his feet.
Okay.
Like let's assume he is a normal sized person.
hmm
Look how small those shoes are.
Normal sized. Come on, Phil.
Yeah, it's like at least 4 feet long.
Oh my gosh, it's so
It's so big.
So let's talk about. That's
let's-
not even the problem.
No.
yes. We have not gotten to the problem yet.
Have a big pedal board. I don't care. I
So
have
let's
more
start-
pedals
let's start
than
on the
I
top
need.
row. Let's start on the top row.
Top
Let's
shelf.
go through like the pedals first.
Okay.
So there's a volume pedal.
Yeah.
Then there's a compressor. I'm gonna name all as many as I can.
It's a myth. It
It's
doesn't
the Deep
exist.
6 from Walrus Audio.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the one above that?
And
I thought
then
that was the
above it is
compressor.
the white one. That's the RC booster from
That's an RC
Exotic
booster,
Effects.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the one next to that, I don't know what that is.
We got to call
Probably
it mystery
some-
pedal.
Dumb low gain drive.
I
Oh,
would
maybe it's a-
assume.
Oh, what if it's a bone shaker? No, it only has 4 knobs.
That's what I had that thought too, but I don't
That'd
think
be
it
so
is.
cool if it was. Top
Oh,
jacks.
you know what I think it is that Jackson Audio Prism.
No, it's not.
Look at
Please.
it from the other angle where you can see like from the top.
Please,
And
Tom
I
Cruise.
think that's what it is.
Please, Tom Cruise, don't be that.
So look at the one that shows the lid, and it looks like a prism from the top.
Oh my gosh.
So there's that, which makes sense because it's like boost, and then another like a dirty boost, and then it goes into the King of Tone,
Dirty boost.
and then it goes into an OCD, and then it goes into the Bogner Ecstasy Blue.
Do you like my dirty pop?
yes.
reference?
Dirty boots. Stupid.
Which
I'm sick
it's,
and tired of
it's increasing
on.
in gain, and then it goes to a Paramount, which is like a transparent light to medium gain drive.
Right.
This is odd. And then a tremolo, the diamond, or is that a right? That's a tremolo. Yeah, the diamond tremolo.
Tremolo.
And then it goes into what I'm assuming is a fuzz.
The
But
psychedelic look. I'm
might
not assuming
not
it's
be.
fuzz because this board is too lame to just assume that something is a fuzz.
To assume anything.
Do you see those dice?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
That
I
might
think-
just be like a
Oh.
mute box or something. I don't know.
They're just dangling.
Just a buffer, probably.
I think it's probably a buffer, a DI, or something like that.
And then there's a 72, apparently, Big Muff. And then it goes into this trifecta, all three of them. Mobius, Timeline, Big Sky, and then a
I've-
Judo Looper.
I've never heard the term strifecta.
Oh, have you not?
That's very good though.
It's perfect.
Have we talked?
I wish
How have I never heard that? Did you just make it up?
No, I've seen it in places.
Okay, that's awesome.
The trifecta is pretty good. But okay, so someone explain this other thing that's like, because otherwise, like that's like a pretty typical, like it's a lot of light gain drives, but
It's just a very
not
PW
really-
board.
yeah.
There's nothing noteworthy about it.
But Phil, tell us about this other thing.
So there's there's an analog looper where and we know that it's analog because there's no
readout on it.
there's no readout, there's no uppity plugs coming in and out of the Strymons.
It does have
Yes, there's
17 foot switches.
17 foot switches. But yes, the Strymons don't have any cables other than mono in and out. They don't.
And you
have
know what I
any
just realized?
MIDI
There's
cables or
no
express
tuner on
cables.
this board.
There is. It's tucked way. I
Oh,
don't know
there
how
is.
he gets to it.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Oh,
on
guess
that
what,
side.
Phil? He
I'm
does.
sure. I'm sure it
Just
has.
like he does.
It's probably always on, and one of the.
Oh yeah, it's the little polytune black between. It's like right next to his volume pedal.
Yeah, I'm sure it's always engaged, and there's a tuner out on the switcher,
There better be because there's about 1 billion jacks on the top
which
of the
means
switcher.
there's 16 loops on it.
So this big giant looper with buttons that are super close together.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like on one hand, it's so big, and on the other hand, it's too small because the switches are way too close together.
It's like an aluminum 4x4.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
pretty
it's
long.
so tall. Like
Yeah,
it's
but-
next to. You can see the Russian Big Muff next to it. The Big Muff's on its side too. So even the tallest point of the Big Muff, this switcher is like 1.5 inches taller than that.
So here's the thing, and
Meaning height off the board, like
Yeah, It's
vertical.
insane.
so the three of us talked about this off mic for a second, and so I feel like I need to throw it out to our viewers that
Catch the viewers up, Phil.
we are aware that occasionally there comes along a gear person who gets obsessed with the shortest cable length, and they're like obsessed with that being their thing. Like, I've got to have the shortest distance. And I think that's kind of where this sort of thinking comes from, right? Like,
For this person, the thinking behind this board is I am compensating for something. Yes, the thinking behind having a bypass looper that doesn't have any smarts other than to switch pedals on and off that's one of the reasons. It
So,
makes things
meaning for
if
the
all
layperson,
all your pedals are true bypass, then it cuts down the cable length and signal loss.
right?
Yes.
So for the layperson, I'm going to spell it out. If this gentleman, or lady, maybe it's a lady, he wants all these options,
Or she.
or she wants all these options.
Or she.
And it says he in the post, so unless Brett,
Oh.
I mean, I don't want to
Okay.
assume that Brett was just assuming the person's gender, but
So at the times where it's like, I want fuzz and delay.
Or she. Oh, go on.
So fuzz, delay, and there's only
What's on my delay?
there's only a few inches of cable length
Mm-hmm.
instead of going through all of the pedals.
Although
that are
it's not just a few, because each of those patch cables has to be at least like 12 inches long. to reach.
You're right, because of the distance. Because it's
So it's like 2 feet of cable per pedal. That's
You're right. Back and forth. Oh my.
So like when they're not engaged, yeah, you're saving, but when you're engaged, you're adding tons.
You're adding cable length.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
Which doesn't matter because it's engaged.
Yeah,
so it's
the pedals engaged. Yeah, you're no longer true bypass. That's the other. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Phil.
No,
part of what bothers me is like the assumption that you have this board with so many pedals on it, and you're worried about signal loss. But if you have even one of those pedals engaged, then there's automatically a buffer in the chain. Like,
well, and you have 3 like digital pedals at least, which are probably, I don't think those are true bypass, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are, because it's like
Aaron, they're the truest of bypass.
It's Strymon, Aaron.
Never mind.
It's true bypass.
Can you turn that off, or is that?
Yeah, they're all switchable. So, a lot of people don't like true bypass, especially on delays and reverbs, because then they want to have trails.
Oh yeah.
You know?
So
switch it off.
But Cole, talk about what you pointed out that actually.
Are you going to have a board with 20 pedals on it and ever play your guitar with 0 of them engaged? Yeah. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Possible.
No, that's not the part that makes me mad that you brought up earlier.
What makes you mad?
Oh,
the dual pedals, back row.
Oh, there's only there's 2 of them, I guess.
There's 3. There's the King of Tone and maybe that black one. King of Tone
and the Ecstasy,
the Tremolo.
Well, it has 2.
That's probably tap tempo.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say it has 2 switches, but it's not like a true.
Okay, fine. It's tap.
Okay, but then that brings up another issue.
But
like, part of the benefit of wanting a cool switcher like this is like, oh, maybe it can have tap tempo out or MIDI or something like that. Like I have this little Joyo switcher that just has 5-foot switches on it, and it has MIDI, so it chooses my presets on my Mobius.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has 3 Strymons packed right next to each other, like everyone always does, so they look all cool and stuff.
Stupid.
And he has to manually switch the channels on all 3 of those Strymon pedals and do the tap tempo individually on all 3 of them. And then he's also got to do the tap tempo on the tremolo. Like, it's ridiculous.
Nuts. But also that freaking switch behind the muff.
Yeah, like the King of Tone is mounted behind the muff. The muff's on its side, and so it's 3 inches tall, and then the King of Tone is immediately behind it. So there's literally, unless you step behind the board and do it from behind, like there's no way you could hit the foot switches on the King of Tone, which you'd probably want to since it's a dual drive, and all you're doing with the switcher is turning the entire pedal on or off.
And you worked really hard to buy that pedal. You either sat on a wait list for a year and a half,
which, like, if you knew this, you can
paid a bunch of money.
You can get it where you get the channels separately, like for like $10.
Yeah, which he didn't do, by the way.
Exactly. Like, why would you?
That would have been perfect. I mean, it looks like he has an empty channel on the switcher, which is also funny to me. But,
yes.
He probably, I would imagine that this dude bought the King of Tone like on Reverb for like $450 or something.
Oh yeah, totally.
There's no way he waited for it.
Probably bought mine that sold for like $530 just because he wanted to pay more.
I think mine sold for like $495 or about $500.
Plate.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's what's annoying to me. Like, I have no problem with anyone, even in a GT, but like, let's say you're a guy who's not very good at guitar. Your church asks you to play guitar. They give you some money to buy a pedal board, and you go and look and see, oh, these are the pedals I should get. And it looks all fancy and expensive. Like, if that's what you use it for, that's fine. But like, this board isn't usable the way that it's set up. Like, it's legitimately unusable.
Yeah, the switcher does not make it more convenient. And if anything, it makes it less convenient.
Exactly. It does make it less, especially because the switcher, which again is even taller than the Big Muff, is immediately in front of all 3 of the Strymon pedals. So like, it would be a huge pain in the butt to switch any of those Strymon pedals.
And it's not even like compact. So you're still, if you're going from one to the other, you're still like moving 3 feet laterally to hit different
right
switches. Like, it's crazy.
Like, it seems like, I don't know. Okay, so here maybe we should
get a standard size board and put all those pedals on 3 rows instead of 2, and just ditch the switcher.
Okay, so that's the. I guess that's the question.
If all those Strymons were on the bottom row, right at the front, you could use them. You could operate them manually, no problem.
Yeah.
What would you, if somebody, if this was your grandma's board, and she died,
I would punch her in the face,
and she gave you this board,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do? What would you sell? What would you keep? How would you make it usable?
I would probably keep all the pedals, except for
the switcher.
Well, the switcher, you can't even sell that though. Like, who's gonna buy that?
You could sell it.
Scrap, do you think?
I don't even like. I wouldn't even take that for free. I probably would take it for free, like just for fun.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
like, I would not pay anything for that.
Okay, here's where it could be useful. If you were like doing pedal demo videos or like wanted to set up some kind of museum display that
Right.
like or like at a children's museum where kids could, like at a science museum or whatever, and they could come in and like you've got music looping through this and they can push the different buttons and see what the different effects sound like. That's the only time it would be useful, but it would be pretty rad for that actually.
Yeah, there are uses for it. On a pedal board is not it. But if this was given to me, I would keep all the Strymons and the Big Muff. I would sell probably most of the other pedals.
Yeah. I had the Bogner Red Ecstasy and I was not impressed with it.
What would I sell?
I'd sell the King of Tone.
I would sell the
OCD.
King of Tone.
I actually really like the OCD.
Yeah, I'd probably keep that. I would sell the Bogner. I would keep the Paramount long enough to try it, and if I liked it, I would keep it. Otherwise, I would sell it. I would feel like I would give all these pedals a chance before I sold them. I don't think they should sell.
I love that he has like his tiny little tuner and then on the other side of the switcher the tiny little ditto looper.
Yeah,
which are arguably the two most useful pedals on his board. Are clearly. Oh man.
I've heard that compressor has a ton of noise. The Deep Six.
I've heard some say compression is a myth.
I've heard that those people are completely wrong. Who says that?
I just hear people say it.
You hear people say it, or do you hear that people say it?
Both.
I've never actually heard it. I've heard about
that people.
People keep saying it to me.
People keep saying.
Did that fix it, by the way?
No.
Is it still
there?
Okay.
Are you still there?
Me?
Yeah, it got really quiet.
I am. Are you?
Yeah, I should probably cut this out.
Nah. We should all every once in a while, people just need a break. You know?
Hey?
Just give them a break. Guys,
talking about Kit Kat bars?
Let's just take a break together.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Michael Scott's bed.
What's the camera set up?
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene?
Yes. I forgot about the camera. That's good.
So dumb.
Remind me, what was his reasoning?
Because she wants the bed to herself, so he sleeps on the little bench at the end.
Oh yeah, and he has to he demonstrates doing it, and he has to huddle up in the fetal position to even fit on it. Oh my gosh. That's one of the less believable parts of the show, their whole relationship.
Yeah,
but
it's perfect.
But it's funny enough that it's okay, that it's just ridiculous, you know. Oh man.
Although I read an oral history of that episode, and apparently that was based on a real relationship that someone had.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, not the bench part, but that they would kick them out of the bed every time, all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Then they would end up sleeping on the floor or something.
Or in another room in the house.
No, on the floor. because it
That's
was like
sad.
an apartment. And they were like young people.
Maybe they still wanted to be close to him.
Yeah. So they had like blankets on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Okay.
Man.
I want to talk about some pedals.
All right.
Okay.
Effects pedals, stomp boxes, as it were.
Oh. Ooh.
Wait, like
Thorpe Effects announced.
Did you say Slurpee with a lisp?
getting a Slurpee effects.
what did they announce?
They announced a compressor, which is boring. But it made me think I want to get what they change the name of the mushroom cloud?
Fallout Cloud, maybe.
Oh, maybe so. I've
Probably.
never owned a
what
Thorpe
I see.
pedal.
I have not
Thorpe
either.
Have you, Phil?
I have never owned a Thurpee.
That seems
I'm gonna take that as a no.
criminal.
Okay.
One thing is
They are
fairly
How do you spell it?
expensive. Thorpe.
Thorpe, THORPY. They're very cool designs. I like how like the sides of the enclosure kind of go up around the knobs a little bit, so the knobs are protected or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, these enclosures, I've never seen like this enclosure in another pedal before. These are like just theirs.
It's just theirs.
I was gonna bring that up, but so that was like a thing in our group a while back that what is it, the green child effects has a pedal with a very similar enclosure. And people were like going back and forth about whether it was okay for them to have done that, and like whether they were ripping it off and all this
courts
stuff.
decide, you know.
Yeah. So if you Google the Green Child Mr. Boost and look at it, and you'll see it's very similar.
Oh yeah, it is.
Which I don't know. It's not that big of a deal to me, and there are a lot of differences in it, but it's clearly like.
But the idea with the sides going up around the knob is identical, and it even has little like vent slots in it.
Yeah.
Because you got to
that's my next.
Well, here's the reason I don't care. It doesn't bother me is because all of his pedals are like different shapes. He even has one that's like in a boss style enclosure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's his
And
thing.
also-
His thing is not having a.
Yes. Yeah. Like all of his
A
pedals
shape.
have different shapes.
Thing is just ripping off.
His thing is not having a thing.
Well, yeah, and is the one that's like a boss? It almost looks more like a. Well, I guess the Ibanez ones are pretty similar.
Well,
It's
it looks
weird,
it
though.
looks like those
it's kinda
Ibanez, like the plastic ones.
It's kind of squatty
Almost.
too. Like it's kind of. It's kind of shorter than it should, because it looks so much like a boss pedal. The fact that it's slightly different makes it look really weird.
Yeah. I think that one looks really cool though.
I love it. I think it looks awesome. But of course it's called
The
Valve
Tube
Reaper,
Screamer.
so it must just be a tube screamer, right?
I think so.
mean,
Maybe.
Like it's literally got the word tube,
Yeah, it must be
British word
because
for tube
it's
right
a
in there.
little gain structure.
And it's green.
I think it's probably higher gain.
Ooh, it has
Oh, I
carefully
think it's
selected
I think-
MOSFET arrays.
I think
though.
I remember. It's like a overdrive and distortion together. So the ratio goes from pure overdrive on one side to pure distortion, and then you can kind of blend them together in the middle, which is pretty cool.
This conversation started with
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
there's
I
this
went off the
other
rails.
no. I'm saying it started with there's this other pedal company that kind of ripped off Thorpe. The conversation of me wanting to buy a Thorpe pedal, and now it has turned into me wanting to buy one of these Green Child pedals because they're pretty cool.
Mason, I think Mason's. I can't remember his last name. He's in our group too.
Perky?
No. I want to say it's Green.
Maybe. Mason Stoops?
Yeah, Mason.
Is he in our
Green
group?
Stoops.
Phil's buddy?
Green Child. Green Chili.
Green Child.
One thing I like about Green Child is that it's very close to Green Chili.
Yeah, I do like green chili.
Maybe his name is Green Child.
I think you mean chili verde.
No, I mean hatch chili, Phil.
No, I mean green chili. Sorry. What were you saying about Thorpe though? Is that what you wanted to talk about?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I had nothing more to say other than I really want to buy a Thorpe pedal.
They do look really cool, and apparently they are like really good. They remind me of there's a couple other companies like that do. I think Tim pedals, maybe TYM, who does these like he does Big Muff clones. They're in like, I think we saw one actually when we were at Mike and Mike's. They look like Big Muff, like the original ones, like the big metal boxes, but they're like slightly different. They're smaller shaped. So they're like the same shape, but like different dimensions, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of like that Boss pedal.
Yeah, but his stuff looks really cool. And then there's another one that's what is it? I don't know. There's like a handful of companies that are doing really interesting stuff with enclosures too, which I think is fun.
Part of it,
meaning what?
Like different, like so, like most
they're not just using the
standard like Hammond box or whatever.
Okay,
yeah,
and like
the two,
a lot. There's
like
a few that are making their own unique enclosures instead of doing that, which I think is kind of a cool way to differentiate yourself.
And so, what's the process for that? Like looking at these like Thorpe ones, like they've got some factory somewhere that's making.
I mean, you can get them machined at like a shop. You don't have to mass produce them on like a huge scale, I don't think.
Yeah, but you could do that.
Probably part of the reason why they are
just go to
expensive.
Just go to metal shop and
or
because
they're basically just like pressed and bent and then powder coated.
Yeah, and the powder coating, powder coating, I think now more than ever can happen on a pretty small scale. Like you can find some dude down the street who will powder coat crap for you.
Yeah.
I wonder if you powder coated crap, what that would look like.
Do you remember I mean, I don't remember this actively, but like my grandma, I remember this, that it used to be a thing with like old people where they would have like stuff covered in bronze.
Yeah, dude.
Like old shoes and stuff. Like
there was
the baby shoes.
They were talking about this on a podcast, and it was in an episode of like Boys Life or Popular Mechanics or something from way back in the day. And one of the ads on the back was like, start your own small business at home by buying this baby shoe bronzing kit, and you can bronze all your friends' baby shoes for them.
That's awesome.
Which is like the idea of bronzing the baby shoes is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's no more ridiculous than plenty of other things we do, but like the idea that they're pitching that as a small business is hilarious to me.
Well, the funny thing about like bronzing baby shoes is like it's to last a long time, but like those shoes are going to last your entire life.
It's not like the baby's going to keep wearing them their whole life until they wear out. Like, they'll just be there.
I know, but like
on the shelf and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But shoes, if you keep shoes, like they look gross.
So
why not bronze them?
Right?
But not baby shoes. Baby shoes don't look gross because babies don't really walk.
That's true. But
and they probably wear them for like 2 weeks before they outgrow them anyway.
Yes, that's the
depending shoes.
Depending on the size of the baby, you're absolutely right. And I'm trying to wrap my mind
around the size of the baby that matters, Phil.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around culturally.
It's not the size of the Bhad. How about Bhad shoes? Can we bronze Bhad shoes?
It's Bhad shoes. The H is silent.
Oh, Bhad shoe.
This episode, we should mention, is also brought to you by the Gun Street Wiring Company.
I legitimately did interrupt Phil that time, and I
from Bend, Oregon.
Who are we talking about?
Bronze,
Gun Street?
They will bronze your sound. Your tone will last forever. Phil,
you can get all bronze wiring kits.
They do make custom wiring harnesses for your guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Hit them up, Gun Street Wiring Co.
Hit 'em up style.
.com.
What if you wanted your cables to be bronze tipped? Would that help your tone?
Yeah, it can't hurt.
Cables don't really have tips.
Yes, it can, Aaron. What if I took my grandma's failed small business of bronzing baby shoes and
She has a little a furnace. What do they call like a foundry?
melter?
Little mini foundry that she melts her bronze in.
Smelting, isn't it smelting?
No, smelting is like a thing.
That's a specific.
That's
A foundry is just like a pot to melt metal in, I think. Guys, we're very knowledgeable about these things.
Don't you have to smelt?
Well, are you? I mean, if you melt it,
melt it.
Smelting.
Whoever smelt it.
Smelting is when you like have a rock metal in it and you like throw that in a fire, so that the rock part burns up and only the metal is left.
Okay, but don't you? Okay. So if you're saying that if you're starting
smelting
with
is something that happens in a foundry potentially.
Smelting is an extraction process.
So if you're starting with a
Smelting is a
brick
verb.
of pure bronze, you do not need to smelt it. You just need to melt it.
If you have a brick of pure
need to
bronze,
melt it.
it's already been smelted.
I already said that joke, Cole.
No, I said it before you did.
Oh, damn it! Really?
Yes.
Oh,
But also, pure bronze is an alloy. So,
There's no such thing.
like, yeah,
so pure bronze is a oxymoron.
yes.
I used to subscribe to a magazine called Pure Brawn, but that was something different. So I actually just had the thought.
I used to, sorry, I used to subscribe to a magazine called Pure Bronson. It was all Bronson.
Just a guy. Yeah. It's very specific.
Pure,
Was it like a
Pure's Bronson.
Was it quarterly or monthly?
Yeah, quarterly. Came out 4 times a day.
and it was like just his friends. It was just about his friends, his peers.
Peers of Pierce Bronson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peers of peers.
It was
Peers
just
of peers.
It was all just production stills from Vulcan.
There's actually just multiple people named Pierre Bronson, but
Peers.
to pluralize Pierre, like multiple Pierre Bronsons, is actually Piers Bronson.
Piers
It's not
Bronson.
Pierre
Yeah.
Bronsons. Yeah, it's
Like
like
you always
Robert's Jr.
pluralize the modifier, never the noun.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got a new Telecaster by Fender
A guitar?
and electric guitar.
You gonna put the 5-way
Well,
switch in that?
It's an acoustic electric because it has.
Bro, Gun Street 5-way.
I know that's what I'm thinking. Gun Street 5-way.
You?
And I just
Me?
that thought hadn't
Bill?
occurred to me until
Gun
right
Street?
now.
Your telly? 5-way.
I'm on Gun Street, that mofo.
Dude, you absolutely should. Sean, if you're listening.
Sean, 5-way my telly. Gun Street my 5-way.
Send him some freaking wiring.
It's all bronze, please. Just the tip.
Some t-shirts, some college girls, and a 5-way. That's all we need.
Smelt it and then dealt it to my mailbox.
Go on record and say that was a joke. I do not want college girls.
What are your? So you don't want college girls, but do you like beer?
I do. Occasionally. One. I like a beer at a time.
I don't.
I know.
It's not even a joke. I just don't.
I know.
Actually, I don't even know if I do. Maybe I do. It's probably why I don't drink it, because I probably would like it a lot.
You might. You probably wouldn't. I'm going to assume that you would not at first, at least.
I have a feeling that I would be an alcoholic if I drank.
You may like the results of it, but like I don't think you would like the
Yes.
flavor of beer right away.
Isn't that how most? I can tell you what, I really hated the flavor of that root beer that Anthony gave us when we were at Sinusoid.
What root beer? I don't remember that.
You don't?
No.
It was
Oh, it
some
must have been that.
fancy
It must have been
freaking-
when you were there, like the first day.
It was some artisanal root beer that
Yeah, it must
like
have been.
fancy people drink that it just tastes like medicine. Oh, it was terrible. So strong.
It's like sarsaparilla or something.
Yeah.
Sarsaparilla.
Why does anyone
sarsaparilla.
like that? Anthony, write
That's
in,
good.
call the
That's
voicemail
good
line
stuff.
and tell us why
I
you
like
like
it.
that, because it was
Tell us about your.
Okay.
I wish we
that
had a
is seven
hotline.
Cole, I'm
letters.
really interested in hearing about your Telecaster, but I think we should talk about it next week.
I didn't have anything else to say other than I need to get a gun street wiring
Oh,
kit.
all right.
But I will talk about it more
You know what
next
else you
week,
should get is some pure nickel strings from the Gabrielle Tenorio String Company,
though. I agree.
because
And
his Tele strings are a game changer.
Pure nickel or
Alnico.
Al nickel?
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Al Nickel.
We had 2 Bhad Bhabie episodes in a row. Thanks for
two. Bhad Bhabie.
Hey, Aaron,
Yeah,
are you thankful for friendship?
I am. I just expressed that
Oh,
gratitude.
dang. I was hoping you were going to say, I am not.
I do not.
Oh, no, I should have said, I hope you're thankful for friendship.
I am not. I love it. It's so formal. Like, it's not I don't.
Yeah.
I
do
know.
not. I
That's
do not.
like
Yes.
you go to the effort, or like go to the lack of effort to condense F with U down to 3 letters. And-
Right.
But you are willing
But
to
not
write
a
out I do
contraction.
not.
Because it's so much more intense. I do not.
It's so good. Okay, thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.